Alright, video 2, I'm going to go over the common gait deviations for transtibial amputation. The very first one is going to be an excessive flexion during stance, and so that would probably look like somebody that just kind of leans too far forward when they walk. I can't really see it that well. They just kind of hunched over a little bit, and so if they're kind of in too much flexion, that could be because they have weak quads, either both of the legs, and or they could have a knee flexion contracture in this amputated leg. That would be anatomically some things that could be wrong. What could be wrong with the actual prosthesis itself? The foot of it could be too much dorsiflexed, causing it to not really ever be able to like kick off to where you're not in that forward flexion stance. And then the foot could be too far posterior, so the socket could be too far anteriorly and the foot's just too far back, and so they feel kind of off balance, so they just feel better when they're in that flex position. Or the heel cushion could just be too stiff. It could just be a brand new prosthetic that they're not used to walking in yet, so that could be one of the reasons as well. Number two, they could have insufficient knee flexion during stance. So that would look like just a hyperextension of the knee. So whenever they walk, they would just hold this knee. This knee would never really flex at all. It would just stay really hyperextended as they walk. It's kind of like that. And anatomically, that could also be because of weak quads. They don't feel like they're very strong, like they can't really hold themselves up. So instead of trying to flex, they'll just keep it in hyperextension instead. And then other than that, it could be actual overuse of the quads. So the quads may be weak just because they're just weak overall, or they could be weak because they're just tired, that they've just been overusing the quads. Prosthetic wise, the foot could be too plantar flexed, so it's not allowing the foot to ever come into like dorsiflexion to kind of help create that knee flexion moment. It's just kind of stuck in plantar flexion all the time. So when they go to pick up their leg, nothing really happens. So they have to keep on keeping it extended like that. And then the socket could actually be too far posterior, so it could be too far back compared to the foot. So it's kind of opposite of the flexion moment. And I'm gonna break these up into pieces.